It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 26th day of March 2020. I'm coming to you from Bedford County in Virginia, live right outside of Lynchburg. If you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. We regularly meet and discuss all facets of the travel and cruise industry, whether it's the Travel and Cruise Industry News Show that's 11 a.m. on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, my interview show called Chillie Chats, which are scheduled when I have a guest coming on, which I'll get to that in a second. And of course, regular videos on all facets of cruise ships and ports of call and cruises themselves. And if you like to keep up with any of that, make sure you've hit that little subscribe button. It's down there in the lower right-hand corner. The bell notification will tell you when I go live or when I post something new, so you can stay right up to date on that. So I got that much out of the way. And as always, folks, we appreciate thumbs up. That tells YouTube that you're watching. And Tina Turtle, that's Tina Turtle is back there in the background. That's Tina. Tina Turtle prefers the thumbs up. You can give me a thumbs down. Hell, I don't care. But that lets YouTube know that somebody's actually out there watching. So we got a whole bunch of stuff to cover this morning. I do have a notice and a question for you. Before we get started, and I will say good morning to Bonnie. Bonnie, how you doing? Bonnie's with us this morning from down in Florida. She is the caregiver to Bubba and Princess, a couple of our canine friends. Okay, so first of all, the next Chillie Chats is going to be Friday at 1 p.m. That would be Eastern Daylight Time, and my guest will be Pete Hall from Solo Cruises. It's a group based in the UK that do solo cruises. That are single cruise folks, and he started a group some time ago to help promote solo cruises, and they occasionally get together and do on a group cruise and several things like that. But it's a place for folks that are looking for solo deals like me. That's how I came across the group some time ago when I started doing solo stuff. So Pete started the group. There's a couple other people, Kaz, and there's some folks that we see occasionally here that are in that group. But Pete, because of their situation similar to ours here in this country with COVID-19 and basically the UK being shut down, began doing some live streaming broadcasts for his community that they could check in if any of them had any specific needs that maybe somebody could help them, whether it's maybe they're a senior citizen and is afraid to go out and get food or can't get out to get food, or maybe they're sick and can't get out, or medicines or whatever. And it gives them a forum to call for help from some of our travel folks. So it's an interesting concept, one that I have been following since he started it, and that's why I'm going to interview him, because he's going to do another live chat with his community on Sunday. So we're going to promote that a little bit for him, and if any of our UK friends that are on this broadcast or check my videos out for the news, we'll give you a shot on how to get a hold of them and join up with that group. A good bunch of folks. So my question for you before I get to the news, and I got a bunch of stories to do, folks, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one, but with all this economic stuff with the bill getting passed last night and going to the House today and with all this money. They keep referring to the fact of most of the money is going to be sent out to the households via direct deposit. But nobody said, how does the government know what my checking account is? If they're going to send me a check, they have to know my checking account number and all that business. Do they record that from when I paid taxes? Or I don't know. How does that work? Do you have to register with the IRS or somebody that say, okay, here's my checking account, people, send me a check? Not sure I like that idea. But I'm just curious, how does that work? And nobody has really said that, and I haven't been able to really find a good answer to that one. So if anybody knows the answer to that question, how is the government supposed to send me this money on a direct deposit basis? Drop the answer in the comments or in the chat, because I don't miss a chat or a comment on anything. So please feel free to answer that one for me. So, all right, that's going to get us to the first of several stories this morning, and that has to deal with what used to be, I guess still is at this point, the Carnival Victory, which is supposed to go through the major refurbishment job and come out the Carnival Radiance on the other end. Carnival Cruise Line has confirmed in a letter to crew members currently on board the Victory that they will be sent home with the COVID-19 impacting the world, including a lockdown in Spain, which is where the vessel is currently located. So this was all supposed to be done at Cadiz, Spain. Carnival had no choice but to delay the planned dry dock. The ship is currently located in Spain, and the dry dock was scheduled to begin on the 19th. So it was supposed to start a week ago and be completed by April 26th. And the cruise line did also say that there was no doubt arranging travel for their crew members would be difficult, as much of Europe has stricted travel measures in place as the virus takes hold and impacts daily life. When some of the crew members do get home, they will have to go through a 14-day quarantine procedure, depending on the country as a possibility. And then Carnival will provide a further update when they need the crew members back, when they get the refurbishment done, and the Carnival Radiance will be able to be renamed and sail, which of course puts away Carnival Victory forever. So, and because of that, the cruise line has canceled 4 European sailings and the transatlantic voyage. The newly transformed Carnival Radiance was scheduled to depart Barcelona on April 29th to kick off a series of cruises from Barcelona, and then a transatlantic voyage departing on June 11th to New York. And they had all kinds of stuff planned in New York. But that's all those aren't going to take place now. So all those plans have got to be redone completely because of the whole situation that we find ourselves in the world today. So those of you that were scheduled to go on the Carnival Radiance, I know our friend Emma was going to be on the Carnival Radiance, and one of the very first cruises. That ain't going to happen now. So, unfortunately. So, okay. Probably most of you have heard already that Royal Caribbean yesterday has extended the voluntary suspension of cruises for an additional 30 days. Originally, they had suspended operations till the 10th of April. And it's now the next date, which they're going to try to get back to business, is May 11th, depending on they're going to suspend through May 11th. So May 12th will be the first cruise if the world gets straightened out, which is still a question mark. So the other story that came out since we met on Tuesday, those of you that watched Tuesday are aware, or you're not aware, but you know that I talked about why they had to cancel the Alaska sailing season. And I took some major flack during the day on Tuesday. How dare I say they had no choice but to cancel the Alaska sailing season? Well, sorry, folks, that was my opinion, and I'm reading the law. And as much it affected me too. I had a cruise scheduled to Alaska, but anyway, I took some flack. Well, now the first thing, Royal Caribbean, when they extended the next 30 days roughly of suspended operations, they also said that due to the Canadians blocking the Canadian ports, that Alaska would be canceled until July 1st. Gee, does that sound familiar? That's the same thing I said on Tuesday. Now, then, just to make it even more complicated, Seattle has now delayed indefinitely the 2020 Alaska sailing season. And it will not start until this mess is over and done with. Of course, Washington has been one of the hardest hit areas. So we were kind of expecting that, but there were still people that kept saying, oh, just because that we're not supposed to sail from to Alaska from Seattle without stopping in a foreign port, which is the law that I read to you on Tuesday, they'll get around that. Well, no, they won't get around that. They're not going to change 125 years of law on a whim. But at any rate, they were still saying that they could salvage Seattle, possibly. Well, no, they can't. So Seattle now has indefinitely canceled the season. I don't know what indefinitely means. I mean, clearly, the Canada portion of it, the Vancouver side, is July the 1st at least, and then we'll have to see from there. And beyond that, we're just going to have to wait and see. So now, definitely, Alaska is dead until July, officially, from sources other than the fat guy in Virginia, who everybody was complaining about saying such a horrible thing 2 days ago. So anyway, that's now official, as much as I hate it. Now, if hopefully Norwegian will get off the schneid here and take care of the refunds, or how. I mean, I've heard nothing from Norwegian yet on what's going to happen with my money for my cruise. So we'll see. All right, a bunch of comments before I'll get to comments next. We've still got a couple other stories, folks, but I need to pause for a word from Scootaround. Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scootaround. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scootaround for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise. Okay, I'm back. I was checking here. What I found out the other day was I was not getting my comments from Facebook until too late. So I was checking to see about if any comments were showing up on Facebook, and this morning there's not any. So, okay, let's back up here and see what everybody's saying. Bonnie says, I've had a tax refund check deposited by direct deposit every year. Hope they still have it on file because I haven't done my taxes yet. Well, I have a tax refund this year because of some capital gains that I overpaid last year. But that's the first time in years that I've had a refund, because being a small business owner, I had to pay, So yeah, I haven't had a refund forever, and I don't think I've ever had a direct deposit. So I might have to do something on that. When my accountant did the, electronically filed, but I don't think she had gotten anything about my checking account to put in the. I'll have to check that to see if there's anything in my checking account when it was electronically filed. All right, Tom Henry's with us today too. Good to see you, Tom. Icebergs in the chat, mini bergs. That's because Bonnie's name has been changed now to B Bergs. So Tom is poking fun, which Tom is apt to do. Of course, I poke it back at Tom some too. Jason's here from Pittsburgh. Hope you are well. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm still. We're still staying home. Thankfully, I'm in this situation where my niece does the out and about running, so we're able to stay at the farm here. There are some local cases now, so my niece is being very careful when she's out. But we're pretty much we're staying in for the duration, simply because the three of us are all senior citizens. My sister and my brother-in-law were. Well, my sister's 10 years older than I am. My brother-in-law's 13 years older than I am, and I'm old. So we're definitely in that area where if we get this sucker, it could be bad. So we're being as safe as possible. I do try to get out and walk a little bit. Y'all know that I have some trouble walking. I'm also doing a little bit of exercise in the house here. I've got a chair exercise for old folks. I mean, I hate the hell that I'm doing chair exercising for old folks, but it's kicking my butt. Oh my goodness. But I've been doing a little bit of that. So I'm trying to, make up for the fact that I'm not out and about like I usually am running around. Okay. Bonnie says, I hope they test those crew members before they send them home. Yeah. I know they're probably going to have to go through quarantines for most every country now. But the thing is how they're going to get them home, because flights, especially international flights, are done right now. So this is going to be a major issue getting these folks home until that's up. And they also, Royal Caribbean said on the Royal Caribbean, one of their blogs yesterday, that they were starting to send some of their folks home. Their crew have been on all the ships, even though there's no passengers. So, because a friend of mine is on one of the ships, I have not heard from Rachel yet to see if she's one that's being sent home or not. But again, they were starting to look at ways of getting their crew members home, and they were having a horrible time trying to get flights for them. So I think maybe it's going to be a little tougher go than they think, especially with some of these folks that live in third world countries and so forth. So all right. Tom Henry says it was pretty neat. Glad the first one hit the hull and made me look. Oh, okay. The iceberg. He was referred to the iceberg that they had down when he was going around Cape Horn. I'm catching up, Tom. I'm not as slow as I appear sometimes. Saw many bergs in Alaska. That was supposed to be Alaska. She did correct that in the next comment. Tom had some pictures down. I guess that was after he up around Cape Hornish and Antarctica-ish, and coming up the Chillie side, there's some little mini icebergs. out there. And he says Tom heard from Ann Jordan this morning. She is in Brisbane, and that's one of the new hot spots. That's sad. So Jason pops in and says, looks like I'm going to be able to book first week of May. Cool. I'm real confused about, not confused. I'm not entirely sure about what's going to happen. You know, we heard from Royal Caribbean that they backed things back 30 days. Carnival has said that they're going to decide and make an announcement Friday. But my next story this morning, even though I got sidetracked here because I got a ton of comments today. Carnival, and that's the Carnival Victory. Where is it? I don't even see it now. I thought I had a picture for it. But anyway, Carnival Australia. Now remember, that is a totally different world from Carnival that we have in this, you know, Carnival US or Carnival UK. Carnival Australia is a whole separate entity. Well, they announced Wednesday that they would be extending their shutdown to sailings through May the 15th. Now, that only affects, they've got two Carnival ships down there, the Carnival Splendor and the Carnival Spirit, are doing the Australian sailing season until it shut down. And they've extended that for 30 days. So that's not the official Carnival word, which is supposed to come down on Friday, which I think certainly is going to be the same as Royal Caribbean and extend things out into May at this point. But that seems to me that might be a prelude in that Carnival Australia is expanding the suspension. Excuse me. So I don't know, Jason, I hope you're correct, but I'm still having some serious questions about when we're going to be able to cruise again. I'd like to see it sooner rather than later. I'd like to see it while they still have some of the bargains. I mean, there were just some ridiculous bargains if they're able to get things going here shortly. I saw one this morning was $59 for I was on a Carnival Conquest. $59 for a 4-day cruise, I think it was. $59 total price. So, I mean, if they start sailing again, I'll start scarfing up on some of those deals. Because I mean, who cares what it costs me to get there? A lot of those places I can drive to if I have to. But yeah, there's some, you know, that would be one of the benefits of being able to jump quickly should something come up. All right, a couple of ships that are still in trouble. Just to bring you up to date on them. You've got the Zandam from Holland America. As of the last report, there's now 77 people on board who have reported flu-like symptoms. 30 are guests, 47 are crew members. So the guests were all being told to remain in their staterooms as a precaution. To provide Zandam with much-needed supplies, Holland America has deployed the Rotterdam to rendezvous with the ship. In addition to supplies, will be the test kits, so they can start testing folks on board the ship before it gets back to the U.S. The Rotterdam, which currently has 611 crew members, departed Puerto Vallarta, Mexico on March the 22nd. It has, of course, no guests on it. The two ships will meet off the Panama coast tonight, and the Rotterdam will also provide any support needed for the Zaandam, which has 1,243 passengers and 586 crew members. So currently, the Zaandam was sailing a South American itinerary, which departed Buenos Aires back in March. When Holland America suspended operations for at least 30 days, the plan was to bring the ship back home. But then guests were allowed to go ashore during the vessel's final scheduled call in Punta Arenas, Chile on March the 14th. The Zaandam then took on supplies while anchored in Valparaiso, Chile. But it does not have enough fuel to sail all the way back to Fort Lauderdale. So they had to pick up some more fuel along the way. The final plans are still being arranged for them to go through the Panama Canal, refuel, and then get on into Fort Lauderdale. And they have not said how they're going to handle folks once they get to Fort Lauderdale, as far as the ones that are sick or not sick and so forth and so on. So we've got to get this testing done and back. And we don't know. We don't know if this is COVID-19 or if this is just, there was a couple of ships that had a flu-like outbreak that was not COVID-19. It was just plain old flu. Another ship had a gastrointestinal outbreak. It was not COVID-19. But anyway, those kind of things, they got to do the tests and see if this is going to be another issue ship, or if in fact the people are safe to get home and go whatever kind of quarantine situation they're going to make them do and try to get back home. I mean, it's been a long road for those folks. Good heavens. All right, the other ship that's still in trouble is the Coral Princess. Still having trouble disembarking passengers due to the restrictions down through all of South America. It's become a difficulty. The Coral Princess, of course, was operated by Princess Cruises, currently unable to disembark guests in South America anywhere. The cruise line has been keeping everyone updated, including families of those who have been stranded on the ship after not being able to leave the vessel in Argentina at the end of their 14-day voyage. When Coral Princess ended its voyage in Buenos Aires on March 19th, it was required to abruptly depart the port. They issued a decree that required the ship to remain in port for a number of days, and during that time, no guest would disembark. So they said, no. So they got the heck out of Dodge. As a result, the ship had to end its debarkation process, head back out to sea with 1,025 guests on board. The guests holding Argentinian passports and those who had confirmed flights departing on the same day were able to disembark the ship. The vessel then sailed to Uruguay to take on more supplies and fuel, and now is trying to work its way to Fort Lauderdale, which will take approximately 14 days. So there's another one trying to get back to Fort Lauderdale to get these people off. So you got two ships out there with still a ton of people on them, and they're still just trying to get back so they can go home. And some of these people are probably sick and tired of cruise ships, but that's neither here nor there. So let's see. Does that cover? I think that covers everything we had to do this morning. Yeah, Carnival and Coral and Holland America and Carnival in Seattle. Yeah, that does. So, the sad big story, of course, is the Seattle shutting down Alaska. It's now official, folks. There is no Alaska sailing season till at least July the 1st. And it may go longer than that. So, sorry about that. So we'll have to see what's going to happen. All right, let's go back and check. All right, we got some people. YouTube is not allowing me to post comments. I get an error message. I wonder why. Bonnie, I didn't know that. I don't see why you should have an error message. New comments. I'm still getting all kinds of comments in. Huh. I don't see any reason why, because Tom's still getting comments in. Jason's still getting comments in. I don't know, Bonnie. So anyway, Bonnie hopped over to Facebook. Let's see, Mandy Connor. Hey, Mandy, how you doing? Am I still on a cruise ship? No, I'm at Forest in my studio at home. We just this is our regular news show. I do 3 days a week live and talking about what's going on in the cruise world. So that's what's happening on Facebook this morning. And let's see if there's anything else. Chillie, Bub's Groomers were booked. Wait a minute, I lost that. Let me back up here. Bub's Groomers were booked on Norwegian to Alaska in May, and they heard they're going to get 100% future cruise credit. Wow, I wish they'd come on and tell me that. You know, I haven't heard anything yet. So, and I was scheduled in May too. And you know, the other thing, Tom says I'll be flexible with dates if they delay. Nothing booked in 2020 until November. Pride of America. That's in Hawaii. Yeah, I'm going to be flexible too. I mean, I have no. I'd have to look at my schedule, but I don't think there's any reason why I couldn't reroute Alaska into later on in the summer. I mean, I was planning on doing a couple, warm weather cruises during the summer months, especially when we get into, the first part of hurricane season. Because I don't mind running the risk of hurricane season. I've done that a bunch of times because the pricing, get good prices. On the same token, you're running a risk, but who knows what's going to happen with that? I'm not entirely sure we're going to get back the way cruises we've known them forever anytime this year. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we do, because I'm itching to go again. So. Jason says, hey, Tom Henry, glad to see everybody's here today. Yep. Jason's, of course, from up in Pittsburgh. He's probably got snow up there. I mean, it snows in Pittsburgh about 412 days a year. At least it did when I lived up there. I lived in Pittsburgh for a long time before I came back home to take care of my mom. Tom is working on taxes today. Last account was closed, so with my luck, if they send it here, it will bounce back. Okay, I have no idea. I need to find out about that. If I have to do anything, or if they have my checking account stuff, I don't know. We cashed in on a number of Cindy's retirement last year. She was 61, so expecting no penalties, and hope she deducted federal state taxes close. Now that's nice. I was lucky. This year, I sold some land and had a capital gains taxes that I had to pay, quite a bit of capital gains taxes last year, and I had a nice big refund. So, but I don't think I've got to check on that. I don't think that was going to be direct deposit. I think that was just going to be the old-fashioned mail check thing. But Bonnie says my brother, 10 years older than me, is self-isolated in Maui because he didn't want to go back to his house in Seattle. His wife has lung problems. Wow. Be thinking about them, Bonnie. I think Spain is going to be locked down. No planes in or out for a while. That's a good point. Spain is, they passed China last night on the number of deaths. They haven't caught up to Italy yet, but they could actually, Italy starting to, some of those numbers that they start looking at is starting to show some encouraging signs that the worst is over in Italy. That doesn't mean it's over yet, but the signs of the curve coming back down. And Spain is still going up. So Spain's liable to end up being, the worst hot spot over there. And of course, New York is still the worst hot spot in this country. Gretchen popped in. Hey, Gretchen, how you doing this morning? And of course, we have both of our stock picker extreme folks here today. We have two of our two of our audience members. I jumped all over Carnival stock and Norwegian stock, and I think one of them bought some Royal Caribbean stock early in the week, was it early in the week or late last week? Anyway, whenever they bought the stock, and I knew they were both of them were buying it. They were buying it the same day. Did I buy some because that was a good idea? Of course not. And of course, they've done extremely well on all this purchase. They bought the cruise stocks at the right place, and they've all gone up like nuts. So good for them. All in favor of that. Gretchen says her July 1st is still a go, but we'll see. Yeah, Gretchen, I think I would like to think by July 1st things will be back to normal, but I don't know. I think Mr. Trump, President Trump, is barking up the wrong tree, wanting to have things back to normal by Easter. That's no way that's going to happen. And I'm not sure it's immediately on. I understand about the economy and wanting to get the economy back so it's functioning and getting people back to work where they can. And perhaps there's some ways of doing both, but I just find that to be a little risky right at the moment. Bonnie says she's ready to send Bubba and Princess up to Chillie's farm. They're driving me crazy. Well, I got a lot of room for dogs that wouldn't that are driving you crazy. I was just thinking the other night, in the last year, I lost my dog, Max the dog, who was 16 or something. And I lost Brat the cat, who was 24. So it was not a good day for me with pets, a good year for me with pets. And because I'm doing a lot more traveling now than I did, and hope to continue doing that, I'm hoping I really don't want to get another pet because I get too emotionally involved with pets. A Tina Turtle, whoops, I got to lean this way and back this way. A Tina Turtle is the closest thing to a pet for a while. And by the way, if those of you that might not have been here the day after I hung Tina Turtle back there, Tina Turtle was an honest to God turtle that was injured by a boat propeller, and was rescued and brought back to health. And my niece actually got to meet Tina Turtle and take some pictures of her, and she painted the picture of Tina Turtle, and which came to me. So anyway, we are that's about it for today, folks. Had a lot of stuff to cover. Don't forget Friday, 1 o'clock Friday afternoon, we're going to have Pete Hall on from over there. He talks funny. He's like Emma. They talk funny over there. So some of my UK friends, UK cruise folks. So he's going to be a guest at 1 o'clock Friday. So if you can, folks, join us for that. And I will see you guys again on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. Thanks for being with me. And we'll see you next time. Be good and be good to each other. And I'll see you next time around.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.